Dreams do come true. So kids, what's your dream?
What is new? So bright, colorful, and new. Sometimes it feels hard, but you don't wanna give up.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
You can see my dream?
Of course, because I too had a dream. Some days I dreamt of becoming a tennis player, and some days a cricketer. To make their dreams real tomorrow, you need financial planning today. Choose from a range of child plans from Aegis Federal Life Insurance and help your child dream big.
Hello and welcome to a very special conversation with somebody who's very special. WTC India versus Australia, after all the mayhem of the IPL, it is back to conventional cricket and the stakes can't be higher. The world's best test match team, a format that we all recognize to be the best of international cricket. India v Australia. In the second final, second World Test Championship, India played the first against New Zealand here in London and lost the first championship. Can India come back and win this one after the IPL, or can Australia, on paper at least ahead, steal this final at the Oval starting 7 June? To describe and talk about it all, to build it up for us, we've got Greg Chappell, former Australian captain, one of the greats of the game, someone who has scored 100 in June in England, knows everything about sport. Greg, welcome. Thank you very much for your time. 2021, India got to England at the back of an IPL season, COVID-19 lockdown, played New Zealand. New Zealand at that point had played 2 tests in England. They were better prepared, and India lost. This time also, we played a 2-month IPL before we are coming. Does that sort of make India a tad underprepared, you reckon? How do you set it up for us?
Well, I think it's difficult for both sides. Neither team has played Test cricket for some time. Most of the players are coming off the back of the IPL. It's going to take some adjustment, but they're all experienced players. They've all played all formats and have had to adjust from one format to another before. It's very much a mental thing as much as a physical thing. I think both teams will, they could have been better prepared, but they'll make the most of what they've got.
June, England. I mean, the ball will move. So much is being talked about the pitch at the Oval. You've played cricket in June in England. What does it take for a batter? I mean, how did it you then went on to score a lot of runs in this country? What does it take for a batter to be able to adjust to conditions in England in early June?
Well, I think the understanding that the ball will move around more than it will in either Australia or India. There'll be more movement from the pitch. Pitches in England have changed quite a bit over the last 50 years. I mean, modern drainage has made a big difference to all the grounds. I was quite surprised in 2019 when I was in England for the World Cup in the early part of the summer. And a lot of people thought that it would be a problem, but in fact the pitches were very good. Quite dry, quite hard, reasonable amount of bounce. The Oval, we know, is probably the bounciest of the wickets in England. Maybe only Lords could be equated with it. So I expect the pitch, weather permitting, of course, and that's one thing we can't be sure of in June in England, is just what the weather will be like consistently. I mean, if I go back to that tour of England in '72, we played at Old Trafford in June, the first Test match, and the ball seemed around a lot. The sun didn't come out once during those 5 days, and it was a real test for batting. I think the thing that most batsmen learn when they play in England is that you must get a lot closer to the ball in England than anywhere else because of that movement, a little bit of swing, a little bit of seam movement. You need to get closer to the ball, and you must be sure of what you're doing, of the conditions, before you play too many shots too early. Driving is a real challenge in England. It really has to be a half volley before you can really commit to driving the fast bowlers, particularly early in the innings, with a hard ball, new ball. So it will be challenging, and it will be the team that adapts the best that comes out on top. Two very good teams, two very experienced lineups. Most of the batsmen have had a fair bit of experience in Test cricket. I wouldn't put it past either team to be able to adapt fairly quickly.
When you talk about adapting, how difficult is to move from one format, the T20 format, where you're playing shots almost every ball, to Test match cricket, where you have to leave balls? And I ask this because Rohit Sharma, who I spoke to some time back, and Rohit made this point to me that he was actually going after the England Test series to the IPL in 2021. And he said, when I was in the nets, I was leaving balls. And Mahela Jayawardene, who was coach, said to Rohit, you look very good, but this is no longer Test cricket. You've got to play some shots. He said, it was still in my mind. I was in that Test match mindset. Now these guys were playing shots 2 months almost every game of the IPL. How tough do you reckon it? Because I've been in London for the last 2 weeks. I've been here from mid-May, and the weather, to be honest, has been very good. I mean, I had rain only one day in the last 3 weeks. But this team, the players have come, some of them have come only after the IPL final. So it's maximum 5-6 days in England. How difficult is to adjust?
Yeah, it's a challenge, but as I say, it's a mental thing as much as a physical thing. Yeah, the thing that you have to understand about batting is that your job as a batsman is to score runs, and therefore Test cricket, one-day cricket, T20 cricket, you're looking for the scoring opportunities, and then you defend the good balls or leave the good balls. And so that's the adjustment that needs to be made. You don't go out there, well, you shouldn't go out there, I believe, in Test cricket looking only to survive. The best way to survive is looking to score runs and then stop the good ones. By looking to score runs, you put yourself in a more athletic position. You are in better positions to be able to defend the good balls anyway. If you go out only to defend, then you're never in a position to score off the less than good balls, and that's a challenge. And I think Test cricket these days is played on better wickets, generally speaking, and I think the opportunity is there for batsmen if a bowler misses his mark to be able to score runs. So I think the adjustment is between the ears. Obviously, it's something that both teams will talk about quite a bit, and all of the batsmen have been to England before, so they've got some idea of what they're in for. I think most of them will make the adjustment. There may be one or two that struggle. Not saying it's easy, but they've done it before and they know how to do it.